Dial star 811 star 963 hash.
Yesu Kristo ni yule yule jana, leo na hata milele. Wahibrania 13 mstari wa 8.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya Wahibrania 13:8, dial star 811 star 963 hash. Star 811 star 963 hash.
Bwana Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii. Uko shwani yangu. Hii pikipiki ni unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari? Kidogo. Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Kwa mfano ndani ya matatu
yaani mtu mzima na miaka zake hizo miaka zote mtu ajui kujua kuandika noti tu peke yake. Kusoma kweli itasaidia.
Nini nakusumbua na nini?
Nauliza ni bwana
Chipia. Okay.
Mama Angel.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Siwezi kukurupuka Yusuf. Siwezi jua kama hapo wale labda walikuwa na mke na watoto, alafu wataka kunioa mimi sasa hivi. Siwezi.
Mama. Si huko kuna wageni hapa sasa. Ningefanyaje mimi? Alikuwa ana shida na mimi alafu.
Juzi brand sikuwa na wageni.
Ja mwangalia mami?
Hata nilikuwa napita lakini nimeonana naye hapo njiani.
Umeonana naye? Maana anaondoka sasa hivi.
A very good afternoon to you this Saturday, the 12th of June, 2021. Thank you so much for joining us for lunchtime news. And of course, the healthcare workers are currently addressing the media in regard to the just allocated budget on the health sector. And they're saying that was a 3.4% is a small percentage to be allocated to the health sector owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. Rodhu Amboi is following up on that report, and we'll be having a look at it later. My name is Purity Museo. Byron Abuli is our sign language interpreter this afternoon. Our top story: the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission selection panel has shortlisted 36 persons for the position of IEBC commissioners from a pool of 36 applicants who had expressed interest in the position. The panel's chairperson, Elizabeth Muli, says the interviews were slated for Wednesday, July 7th and 22nd July this year, with members of the public invited to submit any information of interest with respect to the suitability of the shortlisted applicants by the 25th of June this year.
In a statement issued on Saturday,
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission selection panel shortlisted 18 men and 18 women to be interviewed for the position of the commissioners of the country's electoral body, IEBC. This being the 36 persons lucky to meet the selection panel for the interviews from the initial list of 660 applicants who had expressed interest on the job. Among those shortlisted to battle it out for the challenging task include former National Police Service Commission member Abdallah Mohammed, former Judges and Magistrates Vetting Board Chairperson Roslyn Doreen Adhiambo Odede, former Kenya National Commission on Human Rights Chairperson Kagwigira Mbogori, and former National Cohesion and Integration Commission NCIC Commissioner Joseph Gitile Naituli. The panel's chairperson Elizabeth Muli said the interviews are slated between Wednesday, July 7th and 22nd July 2021, during which the IEBC selection panel will be searching for 4 persons most qualified to serve as IEBC commissioners, taking ethnic and gender question into consideration. The selection panel has invited members of the public to submit written memoranda or any information of interest with respect to the suitability of the shortlisted applicants by 25th June 2021 to enable the panel to scrutinize them. After the interviews, the selection panel will forward names of candidates to fill the vacant 4 positions at IEBC to the President. The positions fell vacant following the resignations of Roslina Kombe, Paul Kurgat, Margaret Mwanchanya, and Connie Maina after the 2017 general elections. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
A section of Laikipia County residents have petitioned the County Assembly seeking the impeachment of Governor Nderitu Mureithi on accusations of gross misconduct and abuse of office. The petition, which has already been lodged with the clerk, is expected to be presented at the next sitting of the Assembly.
Martin Kagwanja, a resident of Igwamiti, ward of Laikipia West, is the first petitioner who seeks removal of Governor Nderitu Mureithi over what he terms as gross misconduct and abuse of office, together with Anthony Murimi of Nanyuki Ward and Joyce Wangui of the Githu Ward. The trio has called upon the County Assembly to initiate an impeachment process, anchoring their petition on 15 points as guided by the Constitution of Kenya.
Tumeweza kuona maandamano sio zaidi ya 3 ambayo yameweza kufanyika hapa katika kaunti yetu kuhusiana na jambo hilo la afya. Hii ni ishara tosha ya kwamba wananchi wa hapa Laikipia wametosheka kabisa na wamechochwa kabisa na haya mambo ya afya na mambo mengine ambayo hatungeweza kuitaja siku ya leo.
Karia makosa tunaona hata kama madaktari pia wanakosa, lakini governor pia alikosea sana kwa sababu ya kusak wale specialist madaktari.
There was this allocation of COVID-19 to the county government, to the hospital through the county government. According to the Auditor General, inamaanisha kwamba there was too much irregularities and illegalities ya expenditure hiyo pesa.
The petition has been received by the county clerk Jasper Mutwiri. In case the county assembly does not act on the petition, as a matter of urgency, the residents have launched a signature collection drive targeting 20,000 signatures seeking dissolution of the county administration.
Na that's why through this petition tumeleta hapa kwa county assembly na tunahimiza ma-MCA wetu. Hili ni jambo ambalo ni dharura sana. Hii ni mambo ambayo si hatufai tunakuwa postponed. This is something that should be acted upon immediately.
Mureithi, our first-time governor, was elected in 2017 on an independent ticket. Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
The National Assembly Committee on Finance and National Planning is proposing higher taxes on betting farms, saying it will generate more money for the National Treasury and at the same time discourage many youth and elderly from the trend. On Thursday, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Ukur Yatani announced a 20% tax increase on betting winnings, which is expected to generate over 6.8 billion shillings for the exchequer.
A section of legislators say they are not amused with the betting trend among the youth and the elderly. The members of the National Assembly on Finance and Planning Committee, who met National Treasury and Planning Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani in Naivasha, want higher taxes imposed on betting companies.
There is introduction of 20% excise on stake. So the question was whether we proceed with it as it is or we shift the burden to the companies. So it's still discussion. It's still under discussion. So by the end of the weekend, the committee will have agreed on some of these areas that are in contention.
Yatani says the government is keen to rein on the industry by regulating operations.
We want to discourage, and if they want to be in business, let them pay for it. Let them pay for it, the companies, and even individuals who choose to bet. Let that pain that you know you are doing at a cost that you cannot manage is what we want to achieve.
Yatani, at the same time, denied introduction of new taxes on essential commodities such as bread, saying the product is zero-rated and thus retail price should be lowered.
What we did is that there was an inconsistency in different laws, that on one part is giving exemption, on one part is being zero-rated. And you know, we only insulate zero rating for export goods, because the idea is just to encourage our people to export with a view of getting foreign exchange. That is the time we zero rate. And when we zero rate, we give now further refund. We support those industries that are exporting, and we give them VAT refund.
The National Assembly Committee on Finance and National Planning, chaired by Gladys Wanga, is expected to scrutinize budget estimates delivered by Yatani in the National Assembly last Thursday.
The responsibility is now with Parliament. Treasury can only convince us that what they have proposed makes sense, and that's why we have had discussions up to this hour, because they can only convince us that this proposal we are making makes sense because of this, but the passing of the law now lies in Parliament.
And the Minister of ICT and Youth Affairs is challenging youth to take advantage of the available digital opportunities and make decent income for themselves to reduce unemployment. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Mucheru says the government has eased access to digital opportunities in the country through the Ajira program, which is empowering youth by offering digital training. In a speech read by the ministry's administration secretary, Lucy Mulili, during the launch of ZTech University Ajira Club in Ruiru, the CS at the same time urged the youth to enroll in the Ajira program so that they can benefit and make online work as an alternative employment. He noted that the ministry, in collaboration with parliamentarians, has opened Ajira Youth Empowerment Centers in all constituencies where youths can enroll and get training as well as mentorship. So far, close to 60,000 youths have been trained and have already ventured into online working.
At the moment, we have 200 constituency innovation hubs, and we are still getting many more, so that as we equip new constituency innovation hubs, they are also serving as Ajira Empowerment Centers, where more youths will be trained on accessing digitally enabled jobs when they have been trained. We are targeting about 1,500 constituency innovation hubs. At the moment, we have 200.
And when it started, since then we have trained over 250 students. Many of them are succeeding in getting their own money using the online jobs. Our hope and our encouragement is that all our students will actually join this club, because as you have seen from the time COVID broke, jobs have gone home. Jobs are no longer in the offices. You can have a job in the park, you can have a job in the beach, you can have a job in the car, and you notice you are even holding your webinars when you are traveling.
And in Garissa County, more than 35,000 families are facing starvation owing to the ongoing drought in the region. According to Red Cross Secretary General Dr. Asha Mohammed, the number could rise if there is no further interventions by relevant authorities.
The drought situation in northeastern region is becoming dire every passing day. In Garissa County, pastoralists have moved and crossed over to the neighboring countries such as Somalia in search of pasture and water, with the elderly, children and mothers left behind. Speaking when she distributed food items to 100 families in Hodhan village in Sankore, Red Cross Secretary General Dr. Asha Mohammed said her organization will prioritize the water problem and urged the county governments to complement their efforts in providing foodstuffs to the affected groups across the region.
jamii 35,000 familia wameathirika, na hao ndio sasa wanahitaji msaada wa dharura.
Dr. Asha noted that the number of those affected could rise if there is no intervention made by the stakeholders.
Katika kaunti pia tunaangazia kusaidia pia jamii zingine, na kuanzia kesho tutaendelea kugawa chakula. Tunaangazia kuwapa karibu familia 300 ambao watapata pia mchele kama vile tumepeana.
In Isiolo, the county administration and development partners have rolled out a 1-year cash transfer pilot program meant to address challenges of malnutrition in the region. According to the program officer, Lea Okero, the program dubbed Nawiri will target 600 needy households and Ngare Mara and Chirab wards.
Tunajua kuwa these 600 households ambazo zimechaguliwa ni wale watu ambao wako na poverty ambayo iko juu sana, nyumba ambazo ziko na watoto ambao wameathirika, children who are already malnourished, na pia watoto ambao wako at risk of acute malnutrition. Pia tunapata wale watoto ambao walikuwa na malnutrition na wakapelekwa kwa outpatient therapeutic program na serikali, lakini pia kwa sababu ya the recurrent poverty issues, drought, COVID right now among others, unapata pia wanarudi back to acute malnutrition.
The families will receive 7,500 shillings after every 2 months in a bid to tackle malnutrition, especially among children below the age of 5 years.
Elsewhere, there was drama in Karimenu Dam in Gatundu, North Kiambu County after a family stormed the water project and demolished the fence surrounding the treatment plant to protest delayed compensation of the land. The family of Mugo Njoroge, and which was evicted 3 years ago to pave way for the construction, is demanding 5.4 million shillings for their 1 acre and 3 plots. Construction of the mega dam project is expected to boost water supply in Thika, Juja, Ruiru and parts of Nairobi.
Challenges characterizing delay in completion of Karimenu 2 Dam in Gatundu, North Kiambu County are far from over, with delay in compensating evicted families taking longer than expected. Angered by the move, the family of Mugo Njoroge stormed the water project and demolished the fence covering the treatment plant.
Kiti yoyote ya mama, vitanda zitaletwa hapa na atakaa hapa, na sisi tutamshikilia, atakaa hapa mpaka siku ile tutalipwa. Kama hawana pesa ya kulipa, waturudishie pesa yetu. Kile tumebaki nayo ni makaratasi tupu ya kuonesha kwamba shamba ilikuwa yetu. Hata plots zenyewe hatujalipwa, plots ni 3. Sasa mama anahangaika.
They claim that since the eviction, the government through National Lands Commission has only paid them 200,000 shillings, which is less than a quarter of what is owed to them.
Na hakuna kulipo, nitafanya aje? Tuko na president wetu mzuri sana. Atusaidie wakati hii tuko na shida. Atusaidie tulipo pesa yetu. Karimenu Dam ndio tunataka tu. Mimi nilipo nione mahali ya watoto wa kupeleka. Nimeteseka kabisa. Hata wanakuja wakalia, sasa nitamauliza nitafanya aje. Na manaona makaratasi niko nayo.
Led by Esther Njeri, wife to the late Njoroge, the family vowed that not even intimidation by police or administration officers will stop their bid to seek their rightful compensation.
Hawa watu wametusumbua miaka 3. Wanatuambia 2 weeks, 3 weeks, walitulipa 200,000 na kaburi. Hizo zingine za nini walituambia watatulipa. Wavijana hawa watu wametoa vitu nje. Tumekopoa huko plot.
Completion of the mega project has been hanging in balance since its construction began in 2019 due to frequent stalling. Ruth Wamboi for Channel 1 News.
In West Pokot County, parents of St. Peter's Kapkecha Secondary School at the county are demanding transfer of the principal. They accuse Samson Chemweru of mismanagement that has seen the school's performance dwindle over the years. Parents are now calling on the Ministry of Education and the Teachers Service Commission to deploy a new principal to the school.
Parents of St. Peter's Kapkecha Secondary School in West Pokot County marched and stormed the County Teacher Service Commission offices in Kapenguria. They are demanding for the transfer of the school principal, Samson Chemweru. The furious parents cited the school's poor results for the last 4 years as unexcusable.
Tunaomba Mr. Makoa kama unatusikia kutoka juu national government, tunataka hapa West Pokot ifagiliwe, hatutaki kuona watu tena. Shule nyingi hapa inafanya performance iko poor sana. Kwa nini? Watufanyia haki.
They vow to withdraw their children from the school if the authorities do not address their plight. Speaking on phone, Chemweru refuted the claims, saying he is not to blame for unsatisfactory results in the national examinations. West Pokot County Teacher Service Commission Director Jeffrey Chemos said that they are investigating the matter.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Defence Forces KDF has begun construction of cow sheds for holding livestock before being slaughtered at the Athi River-based factory to on a disputed piece of land amid protest from locals. Military officers backed by regular police were at the site to construct the holding pen on the saved 7-acre piece of land that is part of 2,900 acres being claimed by the local community living along the Machakos border. The officer in charge of Kenya Meat Commission, Brigadier James Gathaga, said the meat processor management is putting up paddocks occasioned by the high supply of animals by farmers.
A section of the local community living along the Kajiado-Machakos border near Kitengela have objected government decision to construct dozens of livestock paddocks in a controversial land in Kajiado, claiming ownership of the land.
Kwa niaba ya Wamasai wote ambao wanaishi hapa, sisi tumeamua kwamba hatutang'atuka hapa, tutaendelea kuishi kwa sababu hatuna mahali pengine tunaweza kwenda. So tunaomba serikali ijue hiyo, ipate ripoti kamili kwamba hatutoki, hakuna mahali pengine tutaenda.
Their pleas landing on deaf ears after the Kenya Defence Force started constructing the paddocks. The residents watched helplessly from a distance after the attempt to stop the exercise bore no fruits. The land in question was hived out of the Embakasi Community Group Ranch in 1981 by the government for a sheep and goat multiplication project. According to the locals, they had accepted the government decision with a caveat that should the project fail to achieve its objective, the land must revert back to the community.
Masikitiko yetu, kuna court order ilipeanwa. Na ni kama wenye nguvu wamegaidi court order. Ardhi ni yetu, mababu zetu wamesikwa mahali pale, nyanya zetu wamesikwa mahali pale. Tumejaribu kulia kufikisha kilio kwa serikali yetu tukufu, na ni kama wameruka.
The community retained 6,000 acres and the project was allocated 2,912 acres of the entire piece of land, initially measuring 8,912 acres. They have vowed to continue to seek legal redress to get back the land. For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troinjue.
And the push to have Parliament amend the Constitution continues to receive the backing of a section of opinion leaders in the country. According to Tom Ojanga, a social transformation expert, 18 constitutional amendment bills which do not require a referendum can be passed through the Parliament. He is however skeptical the Court of Appeal will overturn the 5-judge bench ruling that declared the Building Bridges initiative unconstitutional. Ojanga saying the BBI proponents will have an uphill task persuading the appellate court to rule in their favor.
The BBI can be passed through Parliament. Do not need a referendum. And that would be a sure alternative to make sure that, you must not always achieve 100% of what you want. If you come out with 85%, the other 15 can still come later. So the appeal is actually to revert this 18 declaration. These declarations were from a bench of 5 judges, right? And that would be very, very difficult. It would be very difficult, in my opinion, to invalidate the opinion of 5 competent judges.
Moving on, Boda operators in Machakos County are now protesting against the new tax levies introduced over the purchase of motorbikes. The operators say the move by the government to impose a 15% tax on motorcycles business has thrown the venture into disarray, denying it a future.
Led by Alan Musembi, the chairman, they say the 15% tax imposed on motorbikes priced above 79,000 affects their livelihoods, predicting that they are anticipating hard-hitting times ahead.
Kwa kuwa kazi itashuka, pikipiki mingi pia tunahofia kwamba zitasimama kwa sababu wengi hawataweza kujigharamikia kununua spare. Zile zinaunda zile pikipiki. Kwa hivyo tuna hofu kwamba watu wengi watasimamisha kazi yao.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions, the operators say they are only allowed to ferry 1 customer at a time, meaning that they are forced to spend more on fuel than before.
Mtu wa bodaboda mara mingi anabeba dada yake, ndugu yake, kaka yake, jamaa zake, na kuwapandishia bei huwa ni vigumu. Kwa hivyo inabaki mwana bodaboda anabaki kwa ile bei yake ya zamani kwa mteja wake.
Elsewhere, police in Busia have been forced to use tear gas to disperse angry boda operators who were protesting an alleged harassment, soliciting of money and arbitrary arrest by police. The operators alleged that over 40 motorcycles have been held at Busia police station, and more than 5 operators were arrested in the protest.
Chosha, wanaenda kusimama pale kando ya gari ya Guardian, bila uniform wanatushika, wanatupeleka ndani. Wanataka shilingi 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000. Wakisha kushika tena wanakupiga na rungu. Matiangi, tusaidie Busia, tumechoka na maskari wenye umetuletea hapa Busia.
They have appealed to Inspector of Police Hilary Mutiambai to intervene and stop the heinous acts from the officers. Patricia Waidera for Channel 1 News.
It's now time for the sports news. The former National Rugby Sevens team players and head coach Benjamin Ayimba has been laid to rest in Urangasi, Aya County. Ayimba passed on in May at the Kenyatta National Hospital while undergoing treatment for cerebral malaria. Ayimba formed part of Kenya's contingent that played at the Rugby Sevens World Cup in 2001 and 2005. He would later become the Gareth Bale says captaining Wales in their opening match of Euro 2020 against Switzerland this afternoon will be a career highlight. A 4-time Champions League winner with Real Madrid, the 31-year-old forward played a key role as Wales reached the Euro semi-finals in 2016. The match will be second of the 2020 tournament after Italy defeated Turkey 3-0 in the opening match played last night. These are the highlights of the match.
It's the cap on it, doesn't it? That wins the match without question, you'd imagine.
And that's it for lunchtime news this Saturday afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Purity Museo. Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter. Do enjoy the rest of our programming and good afternoon to you.
Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii. Uko shwani yangu. Hii pikipiki ni unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari? Kidogo. Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Banki imeconfirm pesa zimeingia. Congratulations Sam, gari ni lako sasa.
Shukran.